In this video, we're going to talk about atomic numbers and atomic mass numbers. Atomic numbers and atomic mass numbers can be found on the periodic table of elements. We can see them down here on this this zoom in of hydrogen. And the atomic number and the atomic mass number can be found here and here. Now, depending on which periodic table you're looking at, the numbers might be in different areas, but the atomic mass number is always going to be a larger value than the atomic number. So even if the numbers were in a different area, notice how the atomic mass number is a higher value or a bigger number than the atomic number. Now let's take a closer look at the atomic numbers and the atomic mass numbers of some common elements that we talk about in biology. So let's start by looking at the element carbon. Carbon has the abbreviation of just the letter C. And if you were to go back and look at the periodic table, you would notice that carbon has an atomic number of 6 and an atomic mass number of 12.01. Now these numbers tell us something about an atom of carbon. So first of all, atoms are made up of 3 subatomic particles. Which include protons, neutrons, and electrons. So these numbers tell us how many protons, neutrons, and electrons are found in an atom of each of these elements. So let's start by taking a look at carbon. So let's take a look at this number 6. So number 6 is the atomic number. And it tells us how many protons are found in an atom of that element. So carbon, the atomic number is equal to 6, so carbon has 6 protons. And I like to put a little plus sign next to the protons because protons are positively charged subatomic particles. Now, this atomic number also tells us how many electrons an atom of the element has as well, because in neutral atoms, the number of protons is always equal to the number of electrons. So electrons are negatively charged, and so the charges have to cancel out. So for each proton, there has to be an electron. So an atom of carbon has 6 electrons. And once again, I like to put a little minus sign next to it to remind myself that they are negatively charged subatomic particles. Now, this other number that we see with carbon is called the atomic mass number. And for the sake of this course, we're actually just going to round this number off. So we're just going to round it off to say that the atomic mass number of carbon is just equal to 12. Now what that atomic mass number is telling us is the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. That's because protons and neutrons have a mass or a weight to them. So protons weigh, or their mass, is equal to what we say 1 atomic mass unit. So AMU is just the units for 1 atomic mass unit. Neutrons have a mass that is also equal to 1 atomic mass unit. Electrons essentially don't have a mass. They are so small that the mass is negligible, and so we basically don't count them when it comes to the mass of an atom. So if we come back over here and look at our atom of carbon, we know that the atomic mass number is equal to 12. And we know from the atomic number that there are 6 protons. And then the number of neutrons, which I'm just going to write here as n for now as a placeholder, is our unknown. So technically we don't know the number of neutrons at this point, but we can do some simple math to figure that out. We can subtract both sides by 6, So 12 minus 6 is equal to 6, which is equal to the number of neutrons in an atom of carbon. So carbon is made up of 6 protons, which we can tell because of the atomic number here. 6 electrons, which we can also tell because of this atomic number here. And 6 neutrons, which we get from the atomic mass number minus the atomic number. So let's do another example of an element, looking at an atom of that element and determining how many protons, electrons, and neutrons are in that element. So let's take a look at oxygen. The abbreviation for oxygen is just the letter O. The atomic number of oxygen is 8, and the atomic mass number of oxygen is 16. Remember that the atomic number is the smaller of the two values. And it tells us not only the number of protons, but also the number of electrons that are found in an atom of the element. So, with no further information, we know that oxygen has 8 positively charged protons and 8 negatively charged electrons. The atomic mass number, which is always going to be the larger of the two values, remember, is equal to the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. So to get the number of neutrons, we can take the atomic mass number and subtract the atomic number from it. All right, so to get the number of neutrons for oxygen, we can take the atomic mass number of 16 and subtract the atomic number of 8 in order to get an answer of 8 neutrons. So an atom of oxygen has 8 protons, 8 electrons, and 8 neutrons. There are 4 elements that make up 96% of living matter. We've already talked about 2 of these elements, which are carbon and oxygen. The other 2 are going to be nitrogen and hydrogen. The remaining 4% of living matter is made up of other elements from the periodic table, but there are still some that are more common than others. So some additional atoms that we're really going to talk about a lot in biology are going to be things like sodium, which is abbreviated as Na, potassium, which is abbreviated as K, calcium, abbreviated as Ca, and chlorine, which is abbreviated as Cl. So it would be a good idea to pause the video right now and kind of test your knowledge of how to find the atomic number using the periodic table, the atomic mass number using the periodic table for all of these elements, and then figuring out how many protons are in each atom of each element, the number of electrons, and the number of neutrons. So as I mentioned, you should, I recommend that you pause the video and test your knowledge with these additional elements. After you have tried to figure them out on your own, you can press resume, and I will go through them so that you can kind of test your knowledge. Hopefully you took my advice and you paused the video and you tried to figure out the atomic number, the atomic mass number, the number of protons, the number of neutrons, and the number of electrons for each of those additional elements that I mentioned. So hopefully you can now use this to double check yourself and make sure you really understood this concept. So let's take a look at nitrogen. So nitrogen has the atomic symbol of N. It has the atomic number of 7 and the atomic mass number of 14.01, which we're going to round off to 14. So that means that nitrogen has 7 protons and 7 electrons. It also means that nitrogen has 7 neutrons. And we got that number by taking 14, which is the atomic mass number, minus 7, which is the atomic number, in order to get that 7 for the number of neutrons. Let's take a look at hydrogen. Hydrogen has an atomic number of 1 and an atomic mass number of 1.008, which we're going to round off to just 1. So hydrogen is kind of interesting because it's really pretty much just a proton and an electron. So hydrogen has 1 proton, 1 electron, and in most cases it has no neutrons. So let's take a look at sodium. Sodium has the abbreviation of Na. Sodium has an atomic number of 11 and an atomic mass number of 22.99, which we're going to round off to 23. Now the atomic number tells us that sodium has 11 protons and 11 electrons. But it's got 12 neutrons, and we get that number by taking the atomic mass number and subtracting the atomic number to get 12 neutrons. If we look at chlorine, so chlorine has the abbreviation of Cl. Chlorine has an atomic number of 17, and we'll round off the atomic mass number to 35. From these numbers, we know that chlorine has 17 protons, 17 electrons, and it has 18 neutrons. And we know that by taking, or we figured that out by taking 35 minus 17, which gives us 18 neutrons. If we look at calcium, calcium has an atomic number of 20, and we'll round off the atomic mass number to 40. So from these numbers, we know that calcium has 20 protons, 20 electrons, and 20 neutrons, which we get from taking 40 minus 20. So hopefully these examples have helped you to understand this concept of the periodic table and atomic numbers and atomic mass numbers. Now, for the sake of this class, you do not have to memorize the periodic table, but you should be able to use it as a tool. So if you're given the periodic table, you should be able to find the symbol, identify the atomic number, identify the atomic mass number, and figure out how many protons, electrons, and neutrons there are using these numbers that are found on the periodic table.